With their show, the Alaskan bush people have always been in the news. Things got more interesting, though, when Matt Brown disappeared from the reality show out of the blue. Fans of the show were worried when he didn't show up, and many thought the Brown family was to blame. What took place? Why did Matt choose to take a break after all the fun? How did his departure change the family and the show? You might not know anything the same way again about Matt Brown and the Alaskan bush people after hearing this. The Alaskan bush people. Also, the first snow of the season has fallen on Brown's Mountain. Let's look at the popular reality show first, then talk about Matt Brown's removal from the show. Alaskan Bush People is an American reality show that looks like a docudrama. The reality show is about the Brown family and how they try to stay alive in the wild. People are glued to their screens to watch a family that lives in a faraway place from modern life. They live out in the middle of nowhere. They all thought they were born and raised in the wild. At the start of the reality show, there was Billy Brown, his wife Amy, and their 7 grown children. 5 boys and 2 girls were born to them. News stories say that their kids are very far from people. Some say that they don't see any strangers for 6 to 9 months out of the year. They also have their own accent and speech because they have lived in the wild for a long time. They call themselves a wolf pack a lot of the time. They all sleep together in a one-room shack at night. To put it another way, the Brown family was not like any other family. The first episode of the reality show aired on May 6, 2014. It was shot in Alaska, close to Copper Center, Hoonah. It was also shot on Chichagof Island. Aside from this season, all the others were shot in Okanogan County was. Hangton. The whole Brown family was there when the show was shot in Washington, D.C. People liked the reality show because it was honest. When rumors spread that the reality TV show was fake or scripted, they almost lost the trust and respect of their fans. For a long time, people made their dissatisfaction known. The show did not stop, though. Radar Online found out in April 2019 that the show had been picked up for a 10th season. The show kept getting more watchers, and on November 13, 2010, it was picked up for an 11th season. The new season began on December 4, 2019. Besides that, Season 12 began on August 23, 2020. Things went badly for the Brown family that year. Bear Brown wrote on Instagram that their family's home had been burned by the wildfires in Washington in 2020. After a year, they lost the head of the family, Billy Brown. His death hurt his family and the people who watched them. At the age of 68, Billy had died after having a seizure. The Brown family was broken when their house burned down. Even though the house was very important to them, they wouldn't give up and leave the woods. They instead went deeper into the wild and kept living the way they were. For them, staying in the wilderness was better than going to the city, where they would have to deal with many problems. They went to Copper River Valley after the fire. It can get as cold as 60 degrees below zero in Copper River Valley. They also had to hurry because winter was coming up quickly if they wanted to stay there. These things did not stop the Browns, though. They worked together to make a new home that would keep them safe from the harsh Alaskan weather. But as the days got shorter and cooler, it got harder and harder for them. They also chose to build their small house out of the natural materials that were on the land. They had to deal with other wild people because they were staying in the woods. They had been living that way for decades, so even though it was hard, it was okay. One family member was interviewed after the whole fire thing and asked about their life in the woods. The head of the family, Billy Brown, said, "Our family is doing what is natural for people to do. What we hunt, fish, trap, and trade for food keeps us alive. This is the life we were meant to live, if you think about it." That was the truth. When his family talked about what they were feeling, they said what he felt. "We learned that we didn't need modern culture," Ami said. "The ocean and the bush could give us food." When asked about their accent, Matt said, "Everyone always says we have some kind of accent. I have no idea where it comes from. I think it's from all the different Alaskans who live here." In later times, Bam Bam said, "You just keep going through the forest and into the wild. They say that the bush starts where you think you can't go any further, which is the very end of the desert. No one else ever goes there." Bear also told them the reason they were called the wolf pack. "That's right," he say. Our family stays together like a wolf pack or a clan. The 3 of us are like the musketeers. It's everyone for themselves." Gabe later said that even though our way of life can be very basic, it's not like we're backwards or cavemen. One of their boys, Noah, also said, "We all go to your house for school. Some parts of American culture make it to us even though we're out in the middle of nowhere." Snowbird was added. "In the bush, girl time is different. We do more than just play with toys and paint our nails. We like to fish and hunt." Finally, Rainey joked, "My name is Merry Christmas, Catherine Raindrop Brown, but everyone calls me Rainey." The people who lived in the Alaskan bush had easy lives. But a lot of people thought it was one of the strangest ways to live. Did they always have sweet things? Not at all. At some point in their lives, they were in danger. Things were different for the Alaskan bush people when they went to Copper River country. And even though things were hard sometimes, they were still happy. Their happiness was short-lived, though, because their lives were in danger. According to those who watched, the Alaskan bush people told them all of a sudden that they had to leave their new farm. This message came on at the beginning of the Fight or Flight episode. The Discovery Channel was allowed to show how the Bush family lived in a remote area. There was an accident during shooting, and it had to be stopped. The Brown family had to leave their home because of what happened after this. The family was woken up at night by what sounded like 2 gunshots outside, as shown in the scene. As seen through the greenish tint of a night vision camera, the guys rushed out when they heard gunshots. They were well armed. In a voiceover, something terrible happens. Then there was a 3rd shot. People watched the men wait in the dark while the camera rolled. The men were scared and ran back to the safety of the house. Billy yelled, "This land is not worth dying for," after these shots. The family left the land out of fear. They lived on a boat in Ketchikan, back where they came from, because they had nowhere else to go. For a long time, everyone who watched them wanted to know everything that happened. A year and a half after the episode was shot, when the family had already moved out of their farm, the secret came out. Someone in the neighborhood fired the shots. Yes, it was a neighbor. A poll showed that the 5 acres of Alaskan wilderness had a neighbor. It turned out that the neighbor liked his piece of Alaska better without the sound of helicopter blades. They left the property after shooting wrapped up in late 2012. It is in a subdivision less than 10 miles south of Copper Center. A country road just off the highway made it easy to get to. Another place nearby is a pizza place that's about a half-mile away. Based on the survey, the area is pretty wild, so the production team had to hire someone to carry a shotgun to keep bears away. When it was revealed that they lived next door to someone, it became clear that the area was not as remote as many had thought. Next to them was Jason Hoke, a regional economic development director who is 46 years old and was born in Albany, New York. He has lived in Alaska since 1996. After being asked a lot of questions, Jason finally admitted that he was getting tired of how the show was being put together. He didn't like how fast their cars were going up the dirt road, how loud the Browns were, and how chainsaws were always going off. When asked about the gunshots, Jason said he had never fired a gun at the house, but when a helicopter taking pictures from above roared over his house while his family was eating dinner, he fired 2 or 3 mortar-type fireworks into the air. From what he could see, the chopper was pounding away just above the trees on his land. He also said that he tried many times to scare the helicopter away, but when that didn't work, he chose to shoot a couple in the air, not nearby, to tell them to leave his house. Did the Brown family report this? Not at all. Megan Peters, a spokeswoman for the Alaska State Troopers, said that a trooper did go to the scene of a report of fireworks near a helicopter from the Browns' neighbor. The trooper looked at the video of what happened, but no charges were brought. Jason did not get away with it, though. He got in trouble with the Federal Aviation Administration, even though the Browns didn't sue him. He got a $500 fine for setting off 3 artillery-style fireworks near the Robinson R-44 on purpose. This is what was written in the order signed by a top FAA lawyer in February 2013. According to the order, the flames were an immediate danger to the flight and the 3 people who were on board. Daniel Zatz was shooting from the helicopter when the pilot saw a green flash about 40 to 50 feet away from the R-44. Daniel won an Emmy and ran an aerial filming business in Homer that the makers of Bush People hired. They climbed out of the area and called the police when they saw this. Daniel said, "I think he didn't get that all it takes is a tiny thing to hit our tail rotor and we're decent."